selele, selele. Okpena helu di selele. Selele, selele, selele. Ebola renede selele. Selele,
In the
selele.
days of the Ogisos, the kingdoms of Igodomigodo and Zazo were at the brink of war. Queen Amina, a brave and wise ruler, dedicated her reign to protecting Zazo from the sinister ambitions of her rival, the Ogiso of Igodomigodo. In Zazo, there was no sickness, no corruption, and no sorrow. The people were blessed with extraordinary healing abilities, and the most skilled of them all was Princess Zainab, the daughter of Queen Amina. Zainab's gift for healing was unparalleled, and as a daughter of the queen, she was very much protected. Queen Amina knew that Zainab's ability were invaluable. She wanted Zainab to marry a man from Zazor, but fate had other plans in store for Zainab. One fateful day, a nefarious merchant named Aminu, fueled by greed and seeking favor from the Ogiso of Igodomigodo, stumbled upon the river where Princess Zainab was bathing with her maids. Seizing an opportune moment when no one was watching, Aminu snatched Zainab and disappeared into the shadows. His plan was to present her to the Ogiso. As they arrived in the kingdom of Igodomigodo, Aminu presented Princess Zainab as a gift to the Ogiso, hoping to curry favor and secure his place among the elite. The Ogiso, known for his ruthless and arrogant nature, eyed the captive princess with amusement, thrilled by the pain this would inflict upon Queen Amina. Poor Zainab found herself locked up in the caves of the Ogiso's prisons, but the Ogiso was not a wicked man. After all, Zainab was of royal blood and should be treated as such. So he welcomed her to dine with him, though she remained his captive. During her captivity, Zainab found herself observing the enigmatic Ogiso. He had grown leaner and looked less powerful. His once commanding presence was now overshadowed by the burden of an unknown ailment. Each night, as the kingdom slumbered, the palace would echo with the haunting sound of his relentless coughing fits. You see, the Ogiso had a strange ailment that was killing him from the insides. As a healer, Zainab's heart ached with the desire to ease the Ogiso's suffering. But she knew the consequences of revealing her abilities to the ruler who held her captive. The kingdom revered the Ogiso as a god, but her powers could be perceived as a threat to his divinity. Yet, in the quiet moments shared within the confines of her cell, an unexpected spark of empathy ignited in her heart. One night, as they dined, captor and captive, the coughs wrecked the monarch's body. He noticed Zainab staring at him, and in a rare moment of vulnerability, he confided in her. This ailment torments me, and I know not its origin nor its cure, he admitted, his voice laden with weariness. Zainab could not ignore the genuine suffering before her. I am a healer, she spoke. Perhaps if you allow me, I might find a way to ease your affliction. The Ogiso's piercing gaze met her, and for a fleeting moment, their roles as captor and captive blurred. In the depths of his eyes, she glimpsed a flicker of longing for relief, masked by the weight of his godly facade. I am no stranger to the art of healing, Zainab continued, but it would be unwise to reveal my skills openly in this palace. There are those who might misunderstand my intentions. A tense silence settled between them, and Zainab watched the Ogiso wrestle with conflicting emotions. To trust or not to trust, the burden of a ruler's decision lay heavily upon him. The Ogiso decided to sleep on it. He also arranged for the beautiful princess to be given her own quarters, and a soft, clean bed was made for her. The next night, as the coughs persisted, the Ogiso hesitated before speaking. I have decided, he said. You may attempt to heal me, but no one must know of this endeavor. As you wish, Skygod, the princess said. She understood the gravity of the Ogiso's request. Trust was a delicate thread, and she knew that breaking it could have dire consequences for her. The next morning sun cast a warm glow over the kingdom of Igodomigodo, and as they dined, Zainab shared her knowledge of the mystical flower found in the Ovia River. It is said to possess wondrous healing properties and holds the cure you seek, she said. Intrigued and desperate for relief from his ailment, the Ogiso leaned forward and said, "Tell me more." Zainab described the flower in detail, recounting the stories she had heard from her mother, Queen Amina, about its miraculous healing abilities. She spoke of its mystical aura and its ability to mend even the gravest of illnesses. The Ogiso's council exchanged wary glances, unsure of trusting a captive, but the ruler's desperation outweighed their skepticism, and he nodded in agreement. With urgency, the Ogiso ordered his most trusted men to journey to the Ovia River, and as the expedition set off, Zainab's heart swelled with trepidation and hope. After days of arduous travel, the group finally reached the river's edge, where the mystical herb was rumored to grow. They searched the river banks and explored the dense foliage, yet the herb remained elusive. Then, in the shadows of dusk, a mysterious presence lurked in the waters, and a haunting melody filled the air. A mami water, protector of the river, emerged from the depths. The creature sought to deter the intruders from her domain. Fear gripped the hearts of the Ogiso's men, and for a moment, they hesitated, unsure of how to proceed. Then, one warrior soldier charged at her with his machete, hoping to startle her with his agility. But the mami water was no mortal being. She evaded his attack effortlessly and struck back with deadly force, using her long, python-like tongue to fling his mortal being down. Her strike was so intense that it left his body mashed out, with blood oozing all over. Startled by such a wicked death, the remaining soldiers decided to attack the water spirit, 2 at a time, hoping to wear her down. 2 warriors charged at the mami water with their spears, but she swiftly evaded their attack and retaliated with a powerful scream that caused their ears to bleed until their brains ruptured, splattering onto the floor. The next soldiers moved to attack her from the back, but again, the water spirit was too quick. She dodged the attack and countered with a strike of her tongue, wrapping it around the soldier's neck and squeezing until they fell lifeless to the floor. The remaining soldiers, with their shields to protect them from her attacks, charged at the water spirit. They tightened ropes around her arms to hold her down and then began delivering powerful blows that left her reeling. They struck at her back, head, back again, then head again, over and over, as she wriggled from side to side. It seemed as though the warriors were wearing her down, but suddenly she broke free from her restraints and swiftly attacked them with her snake tongue. A blood-curdling shriek escaped her mouth, causing their ears to bleed, and dealt the final blow to the brave warriors. Their lifeless bodies fell to the ground as she flung them aside with disgust, her victory now assured. Turning to face the last warrior standing, she fixed her piercing gaze upon him. The air around them crackled with tension as he braved himself for the fight of his life. She opened her mouth and said, "Iniharo has spoken. The herb you seek lies deep within the river's heart. You may retrieve it, but the herb's powers are waiting only for the chosen heart that braves the quest." With that, the guardian of the river submerged herself back into the river, leaving the lone soldier racing back to Igodomigodo.